Hi, this is Amitava Sanyal, opinion editor at the New Indian Express. Welcome to TNIE's World View. A dizzying number of events are hitting us now that Trump has been inaugurated for the second time. To make sense of it all, with me is Jayanth, our diplomatic editor.
Thanks.
Welcome to the show, Jayanth. Let's start at the beginning. What did you make of Trump's inaugural address?
He spoke for nearly 30 minutes, around 2,885 words. It's almost the double of his last inaugural. But I think, in my opinion, his inaugural speech was a summation of what he has been talking in his campaign trail. So it was like the final campaign speech he made as in his inaugural speech. And also it was like a lot of promises, a lot of perils, the which way you look at it. And also he was basically addressing his core voters. Like there was a lot of thrust on immigration, tariffs, employment, making America great again. So basically he said that he has been saying golden age of America is here, and it starts right here.
Right.
Yeah, it was a great speech then in many ways, and also it is very typical of Trump to speak like this. So it is expected.
So it is. Now you talk about America first. Day one of Trump 2 was very busy. He signed, I think, about 80 executive orders, possibly not done before on day one, right? Among them were citizenship rights and deportation of illegal aliens, what the Americans call illegal aliens. How are the Americans in the US or Americans looking to go and make, the Indians, looking to go and make America their home? How are they taking it?
Yeah, a lot of things have changed since the second term of Trump has begun. So it is expected. There is no surprise in it. But Trump has been saying this for a long time. Now it's like a lot of Indians go to the Middle East and they work there, but they don't have any citizenship rights. But in America has been a promised land which was very welcoming to the immigrants, especially the high-skilled, even the low-skilled, a lot of people from various, with a lot of expertise, expectations. They all went to America with the hope that they will become citizens. All that could be a thing of the past. So in that way, it's a setback for people from India because if you look at the high-skilled visa number, so Indians constitute the highest group in that. And a lot of Indians, America has become very aspirational. So this is a dreamland where their dreams will come true. The ultimate place to be in. All that may be a thing of the past. So that is a setback for Indians. But I think this is the reality of the new times and we will have to live with it. And the initial days, it will be a bit of a problem. Then they will live with it, number one. Number two, the birthright citizenship. This also Trump has been talking for a long time. This is also linked to immigration and making America great again for the Americans, especially addressing his core constituency of the white Americans. So in that sense, this will make an initial change because a lot of people go there, even what they call as birth tourism, because America gives citizenship by birth. So all that is again going to be a passé. So things are going to change. But again, I would say this is an expected change. But initial days, it will be difficult to digest. Then it will become a way of life.
Well, in diplomacy, gestures and protocols matter a lot. So what do you make of our External Affairs Minister, S. Jaishankar's seating on the front row at the inaugural and then meeting Marco Rubio, the new Secretary of State, for his first bilateral meeting? What's the import of that?
Yeah, like you said, optics play a very important role in diplomacy. Yeah. And this is quite significant because the foreign minister being seated in the first row, which is usually reserved for heads of state or heads of government, that is very substantive kind of a gesture from the administration. That is number one. Second, Trump has had a liking for Prime Minister Modi, and despite all these tariff talks and all that you hear about, Trump values the importance of India. And also, he plays both sides. So at the same time, he invites the president of China to his swearing in. Then also the first meeting of the administration, multilaterally Quad Summit, which is a grouping primarily instituted to contain or countervail the rise in China. So he does both the ways, but I think it works for India, so it's good.
These two formations, one is not a formation, it's an economic framework, the Indo-Pacific and Quad. How do you see them sitting with Trump too?
Quad, I think Trump will have a lot of importance to Quad because the thing is that at the end of the day, Trump realizes you have to live with China. So because Chinese, or whatever we say, American economy is also interlinked with China. Because Trump also has taken certain steps which continues. For example, Trump first administration has had imposed certain tariffs on Chinese goods, which Biden couldn't remove, stayed on, and things like that. But it is also a possibility that Trump can make a deal with China and live in peace. But at the same time, Trump needs something is to ensure that there is a countervailing institutions or a countervailing formation that is there. In case his expectation is China is going out of control. If China does something which is against American interest or things like that, you need a formation which is very useful. I think his perspective about Quad comes in that framework. In that way, Quad is a very useful format. It's a very useful forum, and it has important countries like India, Japan, and Australia in it. In that way, it's fine. Indo-Pacific, I think it's again, America has a key interest in this area, Indo-Pacific and all, but you will have to wait and see. For example, you see Trump administration, they will be withdrawing themselves because they are the old role of Trump being America being the global policeman or the global military force, or that may change a bit. In that sense, if there is a flashpoint, for example, there are 4 flashpoints, Taiwan, for example. So that all will remain the way it used to be. Indo-Pacific will continue to be an important part in Trump's administration. But at the same time, I think a lot of balancing will happen because it's a very unpredictable regime. So they can play both sides. They can play both sides very smartly too.
This unpredictability is what the world is bracing for, I suppose. Now, one of the things that's certain, that was also seen long time coming, and now certain, is America's withdrawal from the Paris Climate Agreement and World Health Organization. They have global implications. What do you think? Does it mean something substantive right now for India?
Yeah, because America is the most powerful country in the world in many ways. It's a military power, it's an economic power. American dollar is the most powerful currency in the world. So whatever America does with the global institutions, it will have an impact, whether we like it or not. WHO, for example, if you take the second example, WHO, America contributes 20% of the budget. A lot of these public initiatives, public policy, public health policy initiatives that WHO does all over the world, a great deal of that is done because of the American money. So once that money is out of question, then it will be a problem. But again, you have to wait and see. For example, Trump tried to get out of WHO earlier, but he didn't succeed. But the problem now here is that he has complete control over the system, like Senate, Congress, everything is controlled by the Republicans, and Trump is a much more powerful president.
The trifecta.
Yeah. So it's quite possible that America can get out of WHO sooner than we expect. If that happens, there will be a churning in the international system. After all, WHO is a very important organization of the UN system. So if they move out of it, and there will be repercussions many other way, then there will be questions about why America is part of some other UN organization. In most of the UN organizations or global organizations, America is a top contributor. That was also a deliberate thing because those who contribute more will have more power. So America has systematically done the system to their advantage in one way. Now they are saying that, okay, you pay us. Let us go Dutch. Like everybody pay their share and we have a party. So I think Trump is very transactional. That approach is showing here also. And climate change, anyway, he doesn't believe in climate change or anything. So that way will be his policy.
Yeah.
So he'll continue to harp on this kind of policy. So whether there is Trump or not, I think if you want to save the climate and the world from climate disasters, you have to devise a way where America will not be playing any key role. That is the reality of our life. And he has been saying it with NATO, like you pay us more, and all that, because it's a very transactional kind of a situation. Also, I think that all this rearrangement and everything that we see now, this is about the existing system, an integrated existing system where America and the Europe play a vital role in the global order of things. That order is going to basically change. So a country like India, which is not so much part of that order, or global south countries which are not so much part of that global order, they still have a space, I believe.
They will grow in this space.
They can actually. They will have their own space. Anyway, India is in a very unique space. As you know, you can deal with Russia, you can deal with America, and you can deal with a lot of other countries in the existing strategic autonomy framework, or whichever way you call it. But that can continue because the countries who are very much part of the existing international order, they have a lot to lose. Not countries like such as India, which can go either way or both ways and all other ways. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, one Indian in the US Vivek Ramaswamy has now stepped aside from his appointed role as the head of the new Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. What do you think would have gone into his calculation?
Because I think three people with such drive to change things or big egos, like President Trump, Elon Musk, and Ramaswamy, they are together. So this system may not work for long because there can be problems. And officially, though he says that he's running for a higher governorship and stepping down, I think something must have gone wrong. We will come to know eventually. But I think anyway, this system may not work for long because such strong men with strong egos and strong opinions, how long they can come together and work on something is a question that everybody has in mind. But I think that answer has come soon after the swearing in that one person has stepped down to do something else. But he will remain an important part of the Trump system. Trump likes him. And he also is very young. He is very smart. He is also like an entrepreneur turned businessman. And also, this is also an era when every entrepreneur or a businessman is getting a high seat. Like they all are there. So, yeah.
So that leaves us with Musk, the closest advisor, who spent more than 200 million on the Trump campaign. So has there ever been a situation earlier where a billionaire who is outside the political system, well, really outside, though he's an advisor now, has sat in on meetings with global heads of state?
In the past, also American businessmen played an active role in American political system, but even Gerald Ford to a lot of others. But the thing is that Elon Musk is a very unique person. He's very flamboyant, he's very flashy, and he runs a social media platform. So I don't think anybody else would have had the courage to come out so much in the open and to be seen like they are also deciding the policy matters. So usually businessmen, especially when you make more money, you know the importance of being in the background or dealing things from behind the scene. But Elon Musk doesn't believe in any of that. He's at the very forefront. And also I think in this administration, it is like a very in-your-face kind of a government, in-your-face kind of an administration. So I think Elon Musk is a very able ally of President Donald Trump. Because if you look at their speeches, in some situation you think like both of them think alike and speak alike and even behave alike. Their gestures are also somewhat similar at times. Yeah.
So the only certainty for disruptive Donald's second term, you mean to say, is uncertainty?
Not really, because in the first term, there was a lot of uncertainty because he himself was very uncertain about a lot of things because he was a rank outsider of the system. He was fighting his own party, his own leaders, established political system, even the American establishment, everything. Because he was a rank outsider who came into the system and he learned a lot of lessons while being in office. This time he's smarter. You look at the way he ran an election campaign and he won all 7 swing states. He has a complete dominance over the American executive, whichever way you look at it, it's a complete dominance. So, a lot of things he couldn't have done last term, and he can do it this time. And also, it's after 100 years, a president who lost office coming back to power. So, I think he has everything planned quite okay. So, only thing is that he can be unpredictable, and uncertainty, I don't think that is the right word to use, but there is an element of unpredictability here. But earlier we used to see a lot of unknown. So, Trump is no longer an unknown. There are known unknowns perhaps. But a lot of these things, he has given enough indication of things to happen. And even his inaugural speech is a taste of what is to come. And if you look at the first days, the kind of orders and the number of orders he signed, it is maybe enough for 4 years to run the country. So I think he has an agenda and he is very certain. Then from which part of the globe you are looking at it, you can see whether it is uncertain or certain, it's good for you or bad for you. But Trump is here to stay for next 4 years, so in total control of things and the way things move, you just have to live with Donald Trump.
So living with Donald Trump, that's what we are looking forward to for the next 4 years. Thank you for listening.